depiction of the first air step.
Oh, man.
We love this story.
How much time we got?
You have time. 8 minutes, seconds. We're on a tight ship.
You want the whole story? Okay, this requires me to stand up. Ladies and gentlemen, the first air step was created back in 1935, the latter part of 1935. And it came from the results of George Shorty Snowden, who we call the king of Lindy Hop, challenging Whitey's Lindy Hoppers, or at that period of time they weren't known as Whitey's Lindy Hoppers, they were known as the Savoy Lindy Hoppers. And Shorty Snowden was and his group, which consisted of 3 teams, were appearing at a club called the Paradise Club downtown on Broadway with Paul Whiteman. And he was not coming into the Savoy, he and his group were not coming into the Savoy all that often. So during the period of time when Shorty Snowden was away, these youngsters coming up were creating a kind of a name for themselves. So they were dancing, and people were saying, wow, those Savoy Lindy Hoppers, those guys are good, you know. So Shorty Snowden, being in the business, he kind of heard something about these young upstarts. But being the professional he is, they ain't nothing. So he comes up to Savoy and he says, hey, Whitey, I hear you got some good dancers up here and that they're supposed to be so good. But I just want to tell you that we are still the king. My group is still the king of Lindy Hop. So I would like to have a contest with your 3 best dancing teams against my dancing team. So Whitey tells us this story. He said, well, look, Shorty, we do not feel that we are better than you are. I mean, maybe people might look at it and say that, but we don't need to have a contest. We concede that you're better than we are. You're professionals. So Shorty said, no, I don't want to hear that. We're going to have a contest right here in the Savoy Ballroom, and we're going to let the audience decide who is the best. So Whitey said, well, okay. So Whitey comes to us the next day and he says, well, listen kids, Shorty Snowden has challenged you guys to a contest, and he wants to dance against the 3 best teams that I have. So we all sitting around the floor just like you guys are, and everybody say, yeah, okay, Whitey. And start getting up and walking away, you know, say, well, okay, you can pick out who you want, I'm going. You know? Nobody wanted to dance against Shorty Snowden and his group because we didn't feel that we could win it even if we did, because we all considered Shorty and his group the best. So Whitey said, okay, come on kids, it's just a contest, listen, just a contest, you know, maybe you won't win it, but go ahead out there and dance and have a little fun. So he picked out 3 teams, which was Billy Williams and Mildred Cruz, Jerome Williams, no kin to Billy Williams, and Lucille Middleton, and Frida Washington, and some guy named Frankie Manning. And so we were the 3 teams that were picked to go up against Shorty Snowden. Now Shorty Snowden said, well listen, we're going out on a trip, but we'll be back in 2 weeks, and we'll have the contest here on Saturday night, on that Saturday night. So I was telling my partner Frida was a very good friend of mine, and we lived right next door to each other, 1 block away from the Savoy. So, and I lived on the top floor, 5th floor. Frida lived on the top floor next door. And I was telling Frida, I said, hey Frida, I have an idea for a step. that that I would like to do. So she said, yeah, what is it? I said, well, you know that step that Shorty Snowden and Big B do? Now, if you hear me say, you say Shorty Snowden, well, I just want to tell you that Shorty Snowden was a short fellow. About 5'2". And he danced with a partner who was Big B. She was 6'2". So here was Big B up here and Shorty was down there. And it was a funny duo. Now they're going off step. When they finish their routine, Big B would pick Shorty up on her back. And he was hanging on her back, kicking his leg like a little, just when she was walking off the floor, he's kicking his leg. So I say, well, you know that step that Shorty Snowden and Big B do? The one way she picked Shorty up on her back? She said, yeah, but listen, I ain't picking you up on my back. So I said, no, that's not, what I want to do is pick you up on my back. She said, oh, that's different. So I said, but I don't want you to lay there. I don't want you to stay there like Shorty does. What I want you to do, I want to put you on my back, and I want you to roll over and come down in front of me. And I want to do all of this in time with the music. I don't want it to be like a lift, which is what Shorty and Big B was doing. I mean, she just lifted it up and carried them off. I wanted it to be like a step, like shoom, boom, land like that. And she said, here's something that this little lady had never seen before. And she know damn well I didn't know how to do it. She said, took her 2 seconds, and she said, okay. She was a brave woman, or she had a lot of trust in me. Now, as I mentioned, she and I lived next door to each other in 140th Street up on the top floor. So I'm home, and I call up my window. I say, hey, Frida, come over and let's practice a step. So she said, okay. So she comes across the roof, come down to my house, open the door, she come in. So we go. So she said, okay, what shall we do? I said, wait a minute. I go in the room, I take the mattress off the bed, and I bring it out and put it on the floor. She stands up, looks at the mattress. She looks at me. She said, Frankie, what's the mattress for? I said, come on, Frida. I said, come on, Doc. I said, the mattress is in case you fall. She said, fall? What do you mean fall? And it never occurred to her that she might fall. She said, fall? What do you mean? I said, well, Frida, you're going to be flying through the air and you might fall. I mean, you know, now because we learn how to do the steps, you might fall. So I have the mattress here to soften it if you do fall. She said, well, wait a minute. I don't know falling. I don't know about that. I said, come on, we have the mattress. You won't get hurt. That's why I brought the mattress out. You land on the mattress. So she thought about it a couple of seconds. So she said, yeah, okay. She said, what did I do? I said, okay, I want you to get on my back. Now I said, well, I'm going to bend over now, and I want you to get on my back. I do not realize that Frida is about 5 feet in back of me. She runs from back there, jump on my back, and we hit the floor. Bam! I said, Frida, not like that. She said, yeah, I know now. So I said, you got to stand right close to me and get up on my back. Now, at that time, I seen Shorty and Big B do the step, but I didn't know how they went into it because I never thought about it. So I said, okay, get up on my back. So now Frida backs up to me, and she's backing up to me. So I said, get on my back. She said, yeah, okay. I said, come on, get on my back. She said, I'm trying. I said, come on, get up on my back. I mean, just put your back to mine and get up there. So I'm standing here, like this, and I look through and I see Frida's feet underneath there. So I grab her feet trying to help her on my back. I grab her feet and she falls over there. And the mattress is over there. She said, Frankie, I'm sorry. So anyway, I've been over again, and I said, come on, Frida, get up on my back. So finally, she's up on my back now. So I said, roll over. She said, roll over where? I said, roll over in front of me, kick your feet and roll over. And she's up there kicking her feet, trying to roll over, and she rolls over on the floor. And the mattress is still over there. So I said, come on, baby. I mean, just to make a short story long, I got to the point where I lift her up on my back, and she's on my back, and I say, okay, now roll over, baby, roll over. So she starts to roll over, and as she rolls over, she pulls me down with her, and both of us laying on the mattress. And as we lay down on the mattress, the door opens and my mother walks in. What are you all doing? And naturally, I'm doing a step, right? I said, Mother, we're doing a step. What kind of step do you do on a mattress? But my mother was cool. I explained to her that we were trying to do this step, so she said, okay, don't hurt yourself. So anyway, we keep trying until I get it to the point where I can bring her over, So each time I lift her and I bring her, she roll over and she land on the mattress. Then we learn how to do it without the mattress. I moved the mattress away, and I started practicing doing the step with music, and we got it down to a point where we could do it with the music. So now comes this Saturday night for the contest. And all over the neighborhood, the community, people are like, man, contest at the Savoy Saturday night, you're going to be there? Yeah. You're in Savoy Saturday night? Yeah, I'm there. Come in, yeah, all man, Savoy, boy. So Saturday night, Savoy is packed. It's packed like this, man. People sitting all over the floor waiting for this contest to come on. But they're going to see the 6 greatest Lindy Hoppers in the world. Of course, we were the only Lindy Hoppers in the world. So people are just, they're all in a festive mood. People, yeah, man, Shorty Snowden, the guest of the Lindy Hoppers. Wow. So Shorty Snowden lays down the rules. She said, well, we're going to have a staggered system. One of my teams will dance first, and one of yours, and so on down the line. So why do you say, well, okay. So he picked out Billy Williams and Mildred Cruz to dance first, Jerome Williams and Lucille to dance second, and I was to dance last. So, but Shorty Snowden, one of Shorty Snowden's dancers was to dance first, who was Freddie Lewis and his sister Madeline Lewis. They danced first. But Shorty Snowden he was the greatest dancer in the Savoy. Leroy Stretch Jones was the second greatest dancer who was in his team. Now, Leroy, we call him Leroy Stretch Jones because he was tall. He was 6'2". And he danced with a partner we called Lil B, who was 5'2". And she was the same size as Shorty, and I never could realize why they didn't dance together. They were the same size, but it wouldn't have been funny. So I guess that's why they didn't. So anyway, Freddie and his sister danced first, and they were wonderful dancers, not as good as Leroy and Shorty, but they were good. And they finished dancing, they got, applause, people just clapped, blah, 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 blah. And then Billy Williams and Mildred Cruz, they danced. And Mildred and Billy, we used to call them Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers of Lindy Hopper, because, she was so neat, she was up there, she'd be twisting, and she was nice, And she'd be twisting, boy, and they came off, they finished dancing, they got a big hand. And then Leroy Stretch and Lil B. And then Leroy got up there and danced, boy, he's doing all this crazy footwork, boy, dancing, boy. And when he finished, boy, he got a big hand. Looked like each team that danced was getting a bigger hand than the other team that danced. And then after that came Jerome Williams and Lucille Middleton. Now, Jerome was a funny kid, boy. If he walked in right now and just stood up here, you'd start laughing at him. Because he was that funny.
Looking.
And when he was out there dancing, he had the audience in stitches. They were laughing all over, and he was doing this crazy Congo step, his head was going in, he was rock, oh man. But when they finished dancing, boy, the house was just, and then comes Big B and Shorty Snowden. Big B and Shorty Snowden got that, they tore that floor up there. When they finished dancing and Big B picked Shorty up on her back and walked off the floor, the people just stood up and stop it, Shorty, man, wow, and they were screaming and carrying on. I said, okay, Whitey, they won the contest, I'm going. So he said, oh, go ahead, man, go ahead out and dance. It's all right, I mean, you're the last one, so you might as well go out and finish it. I said, yeah, but what can I do behind Shorty after all of that, man? And my partner, Frida, yeah, come on, let's go. I looked at her. She was brave. But I had a yellow streak up and down my back. Let me tell you that much, man. I didn't want to go out there. But anyway, they say, okay. So I say, all right. So I'm standing. Now, all these other teams, when they dance, Chick Webb was playing Christopher Columbus, and I think everybody knows dun 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 dun. But that was a theme song of the contestants in the contest at the Savoy Ballroom. And Chick Webb had been playing this tune for all the teams. When Frida and I stood up to get ready to swing out, I'm going to swing out to the same thing he had been playing. But for some ungodly reason that I still can't understand to today, Chick Webb leaned over his drums and he says, Frankie, what do you want me to play for you? And he didn't ask that of any of the other dancers, you know. So I looked at Frida, she looked at me, she said, so I said, okay, I had heard, earlier that night, I'd heard Chick Webb playing Down South Camp Meeting. And if any of you know that tune, you know there's breaks in it. But if you dance into it and you kind of catch these breaks, look like you got a choreographed routine, although you don't, man. You know? So I said, well, how about Down South Camp Meeting, Chick? So he said, okay, you got it. And he started, they started to, and the band started swinging, Jim. And it's like they hadn't played all that night. But they were getting ready to play for their two favorite dancers, Frankie and Frida. And these cats started swinging, and I was up there jockeying, man. And I said, oh, Frida, you hear that? She said, yeah, man, this is swinging. And the people started, the audience, they started getting it. They started clapping, you know, right along with the music, you know. And boy, and oh man, I'm getting ready to dance now, Jim. I get up there rocking. I said, you ready to go, Frida? She said, yeah, man. I stepped back and I swung Frida out, man. And she swung out there and she hit her both, man. And she twist one, and people say, yeah, wow. And I'm dancing without swinging. And Chick Webb and Tab Jordan, the trumpet player, I do a little step to do, and Tab Jordan and say, I said, wow, boy, these cats are swinging right along me. I do a kick back, I kick my leg back, and Chick Webb said, dude. I said, oh, wow. This band is swinging, boy. And I said, oh, man, Frida, you hear that music? She said, yeah, boy, dancing and we dance. I said, okay, let's do this step and get on off the floor. So she said, all right. Now, we talking all this while we dance. So I said, okay, listen, I'm going to do 2 swing outs, then I'm going to jump over your head, and then I'm going to flip you over like we did in practice. She said, yeah, okay, let's go for it, man. And as I swing it out, I did 2 swing outs, I jumped over her head, back to back, and I started flipping over as she's coming over. Chick Webb was playing on the cymbal, and when she landed, boom, Chick Webb said, shoom. I said, yeah. For one moment, you know, the people had been clapping, you know, and then when I flipped her over and she landed, the people had. they kind of froze in place, you know. And then all of a sudden, the Savoy exploded. They said, wow, did you see that? Did she go over there? What? Did he flip it? Did she? I said, yeah. And everybody started crowding around me, congratulating. They said, oh man, that's a great step, boy. People was running over here and clapping me on the back. And even Shorty came over. He said, hey Frankie, that's a great step. Where'd you get it from? I said, I got it from you. He said, oh no, I don't do nothing like that. And I told him what, you know, so he said, oh yeah, that can be done. I said, yeah, I know, I just did it. So that was the first day.